Hello, Georgetown. You're watching Spotlight Georgetown, and I'm Beverly Enos. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on your local cable station. If you want to try and be on the show, please let me know. If you'd like to learn how to run the cameras or do some editing, if you learn to run the cameras, you can borrow them to do something for your nonprofit. So let us know if you'd like to become involved. Now, today we're going to be talking to two people connected to the Council on Aging, and one is Colleen. You've been here before.
Yes.
And the other is Kathy Fairchilds, and she is the administrator for a program called NEET,
Yes.
which is Northern Essex Elder Transportation.
Yes.
Okay, N-E-E-T. So we'll be talking kind of a combination of both things. Now, Colleen, you're not from Georgetown.
Nope, I live in Merrimack, but I am the Georgetown Council on Aging Director.
And you have been for how many years?
I'm now in my 6th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That has flown.
Yeah.
So fast. And where do you live,
I
Kathy?
live in Amesbury.
Oh, close. So you're local
Yeah.
too. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
so bad. We're going to do some things with your programs first. Can you
Sure.
give us an overview of the programs and the services that are offered by the Council of Aging here in Georgetown?
Certainly. Well, we know that people, research shows us that people prefer to age in place, and so our programs and activities and services are designed to be able to assist people in aging in place. And we know that, socially, we want to see in a community, you want to have a mix of people of all age groups and demographics, and this is really where people should age. And so, what we do is designed to help support that. So, we look at things from across the board. We look at it holistically. So we have, cultural offerings and social offerings and recreational offerings and wellness offerings. And, we try to, mix that in terms of being able to provide what we need, to elders and their families.
Now,
So,
what are you talking about cultural and social?
well, cultural meaning, that the Cultural Council has been wonderful to us and has granted us, funds in the past to be able to support, music programs, theater programs. Monday we're going to have Meet Julia Childs with Delvina Theater. We'll be at Tressaway again. We just had Rock and Ron Tolios was with us this past week. So we do, a number of those opportunities too. Socially, we have recreational, doll making, bingo, games, crafts. It also includes exercise programs, and so those are the social recreational things that help bring people together. And then, of course, along with that are the services that we do. That will provide people with assistance in seeking fuel assistance or food resources and support for health insurance information. And
That's the SHINE program.
that's the SHINE program, near and dear to all of us. But we have blood pressure clinics. We're coming up. We will be doing an annual flu clinic in November with our VNA through the Board of Health. We have education opportunities. Where we'll bring in somebody as a speaker for a wellness program or community education. This week, the light department was in and did a wonderful program about being safe indoors, outdoors, and helping people be aware of people soliciting and coming door to door, representing utilities. So we do that as well. We have yoga, strength training. We have an indoor walking program at Pembroke School that's underway again. An intergenerational reading program that's underway at Pearly School.
And that's having some of the elders read to the children.
Yes, but also as children progress through the school year, it's also important to have children read back to others, and so some of our elders participate in that way. They read to the children, and then later early readers need to be able to read to others, and so they do both.
Oh, that's fun.
We have the men's breakfast program that we do once a month at Tressaway, which is fabulous. I bring in a speaker, and I literally cook a homemade meal with a couple of volunteers in the kitchen. And
You do the
oh yeah,
cooking yourself?
oh yes, yeah,
Okay.
and wash the dishes. So we have a hot lunch program, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the First Congregational Church. Since we do things in a different way, I have my offices here at Town Hall where we do some of our programs, but we also rent space at the First Congregational Church, and the Housing Authority has been very good and has allowed us to use their space at the community building for our exercise-based programs,
Tressaway.
our triad, our triad group, our men's breakfast group. So our van program also takes people to the grocery store once or twice a week, and we also have medical transportation, which we'll be talking about later. We deliver food bags from, for people who participate in the Elder Brown Bag program, which is a program that we coordinate with Elder Services of Merrimack Valley. We also, in addition to going to the grocery store, we might do another outing. You might, once a week, it might be to Super Walmart, but it also might be to the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem. And
these all sound like really good reasons to get
yeah,
older. I mean, you have to get there anyway. May as well have some fun while you're there.
Yeah.
So it's all different types of things.
It is, and that's where I say we really try to look at things holistically. So you're hitting all those components of maintaining a healthy personality.
And it's men and women, obviously.
Men and women. And elders are people in town. In Massachusetts, an elder is somebody who's over the age of 60.
Yay.
But we also provide support for families too.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
There is. We're busy.
Yes. Well, that's good, because one of the things for elders, I mean, I work with elders as well, because I teach in the senior centers, is they need something to get out of the house, and people to talk to, and someone to communicate with, and someone to share experiences, because quite often they're going through something that someone else has already been through.
Yeah, perhaps.
Or they can help someone else get through what they're going through.
And certainly, I mean, as we age today, we're aging somewhat differently. We may still be working. We may still be, maybe raising grandchildren or raising children, but there's that need to be, to share and have common experience, and certainly we hope to address that.
The SHINE program is wonderful, because the way the insurance is now
so
with Medicare,
complex.
and there are so many different things, and A, B, C, D, and so you have someone that can actually help people individually.
We do have a SHINE counselor who meets with people on a monthly basis, as well as at different times during the month when that occurs. And we will be doing a forum on Medicare and open enrollment in October, because we're cruising into the open enrollment period, and so we will have an informational forum which will be televised, and try to get the information out to folks.
When I tune into the station, a lot of times I see a lot of the things that are done with you.
Board.
And I see a lot of the entertainment that you provide.
Janet's been very good to us.
And I know Charlie's taping things a lot.
He does, and that's wonderful, wonderful, because then people at home are able to share with us as well.
And a lot of times people say, well, I'm not going there, that's for older people. And it's like, well, if you want to go and have a good time. Or get the services, or
Exactly.
Or if you want to volunteer, people can volunteer and come and help.
Yes.
As well.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have a good core group of volunteers, and one of whom is manning my office right now.
So you can be up here.
Yeah, exactly. So
now today we're actually going to focus on part of the Council on Aging, the transportation program, which is the NEET. Can you give us some background on what this program is?
Well, we had our transportation program includes 3 components. I mean, first we do have a van in which we do, we do group shopping trips with our van, because we're limited. Well, no. We will typically, we may go to the Raleigh, Demoulas and Market Basket, to the Haverhill, which now has a wonderful new Market Basket, Newburyport. So you can do other types of shopping, and we have, we're limited. We just have the van 2 days a week. And we were very fortunate to get this new van through a mobility assistance grant. It was granted to the 2 councils on aging, to Merrimack and to Georgetown. We applied, 2 years ago, and received the van just before Christmas. And we leased a van from MVRTA, from Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority, for $1 a year. So it was a state
price.
It was a state grant, and was competitive. And that's how they did the procurement, was with Merrimack Valley Regional Transit.
So we share that.
We share it with Merrimack, but so we use that for our group shopping trips, or, as I said, some recreational shopping. But the Merrimack Valley Regional Transit Authority also has the Ring and Ride program, which to Georgetown residents is available for free in our town. And the destinations that they serve, they've just opened up the rest of their catchment area as general destinations. So they'll go to Haverhill, and to North Andover, to Methuen, to Newburyport, to Amesbury.
And is this for medical?
No, this is for any need. So it can be medical, it can be shopping, it can be to go to church, to go out to lunch. It does require that people call 24 hours in advance. They are wheelchair accessible vans, and they are also can be used, for people who are, who need dialysis 3 days a week, and you can do a standing order or chemo, you know, that it becomes hard for family and for volunteers to fill that kind of void. But the MVRTA Ring and Ride program, you know, is fabulous at doing that. So I have that contact information in the office. I mean, I've got it with me too, but, you know, I would, you know, encourage people to call us for more information. I could mail them a pamphlet and talk with them how.
Your phone number is?
Our number in the office is 978-352-5726. But so that's 2 programs. And then the third program that we have is our medical transportation is provided through our volunteers, our very fabulous volunteers. Yes. And that program is the Northern Essex Elder Transport Program, the NEET program, and Kathy is the administrator for that program. So, you know, we can certainly talk some more about that now.
Okay, how long has NEET been around?
32 years.
32 years,
I know,
really?
It's amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, with this part of the program, how many towns does it cover?
14 communities: Amesbury, Boxford, Georgetown, Groveland, Haverhill, Lawrence, Merrimack, Methuen, Newbury, Newburyport, North Andover, Raleigh, Salisbury, and West Newbury.
You got them all.
I was
I
so
know.
afraid that
I'm
I
watching the
wouldn't.
list. She had them.
Now, the drivers for these programs, who drives for these medical
Anyone. They're volunteers.
volunteers?
Any age. We have them ranging from 21 up to probably
late
70
80s.
or so, in their late
Late-
80s.
Okay. Now, do they get reimbursed for this?
Yes, we reimburse them 43 cents a mile, and we provide them with volunteer supplemental liability insurance.
Oh, good. So
But
they don't have
use
to worry
their-
about that themselves.
No, and they use their own automobiles.
Okay, so if anybody has a car and they've got some time that they'd like to fill helping others, they can
Yes.
just call and become
Yes.
a volunteer.
They call their local council on aging.
All right, now, would they get trained?
Yes. Well, we have, first off, they get Corey checked, and we
Okay.
get references.
All right?
And then every
For
few
the safety
years.
of both sides.
Both
yes,
sides,
yes. And every few years we have a emergency procedures course where they're taught what to do in case of an emergency. We're due to have one soon. And then like for instance with Colleen, we would meet here at the Council on Aging and explain the program to them and how it works. And
Do you
We
check out how
provide-
they drive?
well, that Corey check I think does that
And
more or
we
less.
also do ask for, you know, a safe driving record.
Yes.
And we do that.
Yes.
And Kathy and I meet with people, and, you know, we have a packet of information to walk people through to help, you know, and so we do some initial training at that point, and then certainly we provide ongoing support, you know, between my outreach worker and myself, or, you know, and calling Kathy if need be. So we, in our office, continue to provide support.
Now, how do you recruit these drivers? Other than shows like this?
Well, the Council on Aging does most of the recruiting through their newsletters, through newspaper articles, and again, you know, shows. We also have flyers that we have, we distribute to the local businesses and elderly housing.
So let's say somebody was part of this program, they volunteered, they got the training, they were all checked out, and how would they be scheduled? I mean, how would they know when they were driving and who they were driving and where they were going?
Well, I'll let Colleen answer that because
They're scheduled to the Council on Aging. So as a consumer, an elder would call us, and, you know, 'cause this program serves just our elders, versus the MVRTA Ring and Ride, which can serve non-elders. Our program serves elders, and people, you know, call us with a request for a ride. I need to go to the doctor next week. I have an office visit appointment scheduled Wednesday, you know, in such a location. You know, I need a ride, and so we gather the information and talk with the client also about what type of a medical appointment it is, because, you know, we do want to do some screening. You know, I do want to be sure that it's an office visit, it's non-emergent, that there's not going to be the need to have somebody there in the appointment that can gather information or that can be support after, you know, a procedure. We're
Okay.
not doing procedures, and, you know, then I call my list of drivers and look at the days that somebody might be driving and say, well, this is a Wednesday appointment and this person drives on a Monday or a Wednesday. I'll call that person, and so you go through your list, and then, you know, call one driver, wait to hear back, and then call the second driver.
Now, on these, how far would the appointments be? I mean, would you be driving into Boston, or would it be to the doctor in Haverhill?
well, we prefer 48 hours notice for the client to call and ask. But we have trips to Boston where the drivers wait 7 and 8 hours sometimes. They're so wonderful.
It's not typical for us to be driving to Boston. Most of our people are served in this area. They might go to Newburyport, to Emma Jakes, or to Pentucket Medical, Associates on Merrimack Street, or Haverhill, again, Amesbury Health Center, Danvers, Peabody.
But sometimes people
Beverly.
have a Boston doctor, and that's
Well, that might not be a ride that might be filled with a volunteer.
Okay.
I mean, it's sometimes when you need to be seen in Boston, and there might be more happening in that appointment, and that might be the opportunity then to include somebody that's close to you. So
Okay.
you're not alone gathering the information. It's often good to have a second person in an appointment to hear,
Yes.
to take notes. And there might be some anxiety happening too, and that's a time when we might be talking and saying, who else is in your life? Is there, is this a time
children,
that you can call
grandchildren,
a
friends.
friend, somebody through church? Is there somebody that you feel safe with that that
Okay,
could
so
go
these
with you?
would be more of the,
We're
I need
doing-
to go get my blood pressure checked, or I need
Yes.
to go for my
Yeah.
annual physical, or
Exactly.
my eye test,
Yes.
or whatever it is,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes,
Okay, now,
because again, these are elder drivers.
okay,
So most of our volunteers are elders themselves. So I'm
do they have to be elders?
no, that's as Kathy said. We could have younger people,
Yeah,
but
we've had, yeah.
typically our drivers
We,
are
ac-
elders.
we actually had a young gentleman, he was 17, a senior, and he was going to be a senior, but he wanted to drive in the summer because he wanted
Oh,
to
great.
help, and he drove maybe 3 times, but that was, and then
Yeah.
football practice started, so we
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But the elders really liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of the other programs in town that the kids have to do so many hours of community service, could they come in and use this as part of the community service? I'm just floating ideas here. So,
I don't know.
Okay,
That would
depend,
have
yeah.
yeah,
you-
it would
you have
depend
to-
on the
yeah.
person.
on the
mean,
individual, yeah.
yeah.
And even mothers with children in school.
No, absolutely. I mean, and when Kathy and I had worked together in another town, we had a couple of women who did drive,
Yes.
while their children were in school, and that worked very well.
Yeah, and when they're scheduled to do the trip, they're aware, Colleen's aware that they can't be
Yeah,
out
so
past
we would,
Right.
right,
They'd
we'd
have
have
to
to
be
be,
home by
we'd have to
3
be
o'clock.
looking at and saying, okay, this office visit has to be concluded by.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but that's somebody could volunteer in that
Yes,
manner.
yeah, absolutely.
Why is this so important to the elders to have a program like this?
Well, when you get to be a certain age, your medical appointments are pretty most the important thing in your life. Really, and
But it's also
They
supporting
fill your
independence.
calendar.
It's supporting independence.
it is. It's
yeah.
keeping them independent and on their own, and they don't have to rely, on. Don't end up in a nursing home, or it keeps them in their home longer, I think.
So that way they
It's-
can
it
stay home
augments.
Yeah.
and still get to the doctors.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Which is
it's an option.
which is important.
It's good to have that option.
It is. It is.
Yeah, yeah.
Are there limits to the program?
There are some.
There are. They have to be 60 plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also they have to be able to be mobile to get into the volunteer's car.
Okay, so they have to be
Because
able to get in and out of a car by
The
themselves.
drivers are not medical advocates. They can't push wheelchairs. They can't carry heavy medical equipment or anything like that. So because the wheelchairs in that through the Councils on Aging.
Okay, so this is people that just can't drive themselves, but they need to get someplace.
For whatever reason,
But
yeah.
they can take care of themselves and get in and out of
Yes.
the car. And
Yep.
And be able to gather the information that they need in the appointment too. That's another piece. I mean, that's important too. You have to be able to organize your health insurance and medical history. And
yeah. Now, does the Council on Aging help with that end of it? Sometimes helping people make sure that they have what that would be the SHINE program again.
in terms of health insurance,
Yeah.
and that it's SHINE is serving the health insurance needs of elders, and it's a counseling program where you look at your options, and certainly we can't say, well, this is your best choice, but you can help people by looking at what their prescription needs are and their medical history, that well here, and what their income is, and here are 3 choices you can look at, and that's what SHINE is.
I've actually gone through the program
Yeah.
with somebody before. So,
Yeah, that's what it is.
And the centers that I work in have, excuse me, one of the centers has 3 full-time.
Yeah, we're
SHINE
very
people.
fortunate to have somebody with us.
Yeah.
What's
Now,
yeah.
how do you measure a program like this? How do you measure the success?
Well, we do a survey, Colleen.
Yes, we do. We have done client surveys in the past as well, and we've had wonderful responses from people who said, well, I give the program an A+. You know, I can't, you know, the blessings to the volunteers in the program. And certainly we see, you know, the people are very satisfied with the support that we provide.
Yeah.
I also have done needs assessments for us, for the Council on Aging, but, you know, the client survey that comes from the NEET program. So we hear, you know, quantitatively as well as qualitatively.
Yeah.
And
They're very pleased. They're very grateful also.
I can't imagine how much it brings to the person that's driving.
That's true. That's
because
true.
knowing that you're helping someone that really needs your help,
No, it's
such an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You get in your car and you drive.
No, our drivers have been very touched by being part of somebody else's network of support. You know, they're you know, they often will say, "Oh, I just really enjoyed that conversation that we had," and you know, they're very caring people, and we're very fortunate to have the volunteers that we do, because it is tangible. It's a tangible way of helping.
Do you have enough volunteers?
No,
Foolish question.
You never have enough
Foolish
volunteers.
question.
Never have enough.
We have 135 right now.
Do you
And
really?
that sounds
In
like a
all
lot, but
14.
in 14 communities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Georgetown has, I believe,
We have seven, but we have had some changes. Some people have had some changes in their lives, and so we're at a point where we really do need some additional drivers.
because as Colleen said, sometimes they'll just, you'll get someone who'll only drive on a Wednesday.
Right.
Or wants to drive after 1 o'clock. So if you can get a good enough
Yeah.
core of drivers, that would work out ideally. But when you don't have enough, you
No,
can't.
Right.
It's hard. Yeah.
Right. So how would people volunteer to drive?
Well, the first step would be just give us a call at the office. And, you know, again, the number is 978-352-5726. But, you know, then I would schedule a time for, you know, the volunteer to come in and to meet with Kathy and I, and we would interview together and talk with them about the program.
Okay. I don't know that
It's not
everybody
a
knows this
difficult
is out there.
process.
Right. Right. Sounds easy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank you.
sharing
Thanks
with us
so
again.
much. Thank you, Beverly.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Kathy. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
If anybody has time and you'd like to share with some of our elders, please call Colleen and let her know. And this is Spotlight Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.